Changing Gears 2.0. It's been a long time since we made a video. A lot has happened. I got married, I've had a kid, I started a business, it's gone on to do well, and finally, for the first time in a couple years, I've been able to find time to make content. And to kick that off, I bought an E46 M3, and I love it. And when I was doing a lot of research, I found a lot of old, outdated videos highlighting the M3, you know, the buyer's guides, all of that. And I wanted to make a video here in 2023 about why I bought this 20-year-old car and why I think you should too. So, without further ado, the E46 M3. Let me start out by saying that I didn't buy the most desirable M3 of all time. This is a 2003, it's a convertible, it has an SMG transmission, and those three boxes are kind of the ones you don't want to check. You really got to know what you're getting into when you're buying one of these. The E46 does have some well-known fail points. Rod bearings are common. The stock ones just could not keep up with high revving engines over time. The Vanos system, which is a variable valve timing system, it's a BMW thing, it's been known to fail. And lastly, and probably the most important, are the rear subframes. They crack where the body meets the subframe, and that's a real bad day. And it costs anywhere from $2,500 to $5,000 to get it fixed. Now, here we are 20 years later, and there's obviously a lot of parts in the aftermarket and services and kits that allow you to check a lot of these boxes, and some of those I've done for this. It's got new bearings, it's getting the reinforced subframe here in a couple of weeks. Haven't touched the Vanos, but valves sound good, no clattering, not too worried about it there at this time, but we might get there. This one has 95,000 miles, and I live in Minnesota, and I bought this in Oklahoma. And so it has not seen a lot of salt or winter, if any, at all. So I feel a little bad driving it right now because up to this point it's been living in my garage. But with 8 inches of snow on the horizon here in a couple days, and the fact that I'm about to go to Florida, I just couldn't wait any longer to make this video. So here I am, driving it, midday here. It's cold, it's about 16 degrees. And I'm justifying it for you guys. And I'm gonna wash it and then go park it again for a couple weeks. The E46 followed up the E36, more power, significantly different styling, and many regard it as the last great M3. And you'll find people that call it the greatest M3 ever made, and I might be one of those people. This was my bedroom wall poster as a kid, growing up. Born in 97, living through the 2000s of Fast and Furious and Need for Speeds and Midnight Undergrounds. This was a legit car. And I could never afford one. And actually, it's getting harder and harder to afford one. But I found the right thing for the right price. Business was doing well, and it was in the cards for me this summer. And it gave me an excuse to start making videos like these again, which I'm excited about. So I wanted just to give a little bit of overview because I think if you have the opportunity and you've been thinking about one of these, now's the time because they're getting expensive. It's a future classic, easily, if it isn't getting there already. This one again with 95,000 miles, pretty mint, don't get me wrong, with an SMG transmission and a convertible, which are two semi-undesirable options, was $17,500. A lot of you may wonder why I went with the convertible, and the answer to that is pretty simple. I like convertibles, and it was an easier sell to my wife that we've now got a summer convertible as opposed to a low sports coupe that she doesn't want to take out to dinner. So, still get the same drivetrain. Sure, convertible weighs a few hundred more pounds, but if you're not tracking the car, you don't care about that. It's still an exhilarating car. You break the tires free, you put the pedal down, and it's aggressive. Like I keep saying, I can't describe this car anymore in regards to how just visceral and full body experience it is. It's a very stiff car. You feel every bump. You feel every bump. You feel every shift. The handling is amazing. A lot of people know that this is a very well-regarded car when it comes to handling, and 100% it is. You feel it in your seat. You just feel this car. And that's one of the coolest things about it to me. And where, like, the new M3s, super fast, super nice. I was just walking around the Minnetonka dealership yesterday looking at them, four-wheeled art pieces. But I look at them and it's like, you know, 100 grand. Would I have, how much more fun would I have in that as opposed to this? Because I spend a lot of time smiling in this car. It's hard to hold a camera and shift gears at the same time. I have a lot of fun in this car. It's a miles per gallon car, and I don't know. It's like, I bought this for 17, to spend 100 more than that, to smile just as much? I don't know. I mean, there's a lot of creature comforts that come with the new one, don't get me wrong, but this is a unique driving experience. Like, to call yourself a car enthusiast, a sports car guy, a BMW guy, I feel like you gotta have seat time in this. Because it's cool, it's fun, and I'm really glad I bought it. So while we're slowing down at the light here, I'll give you a quick run through on the SMG. So the SMG was actually the optional add-on transmission. It was out of the CSL, and it was the future in the early 2000s. Basically, it's a sequential manual. Physically, it's the exact same gearbox as the 6-speed. It operates on clutches, there's no torque converters, and you're shifting gears. This thing does not shift for you. You will bang it off the rev limiter if you don't pull the handle or the paddles. So you're pulling back to shift up, you're pushing forward to shift down. You do have to let off the gas on each shift, similar to a manual, so you don't beat up those clutches too bad. And beyond that, that's pretty much it. I like it. I like the SMG. It's a different driving experience. A lot of people say it's worse than the 6-speed, and maybe when it comes to cost to fix it, yeah, probably is more expensive. But it's its own unique, and I'm caught in between on what I want to do with this. It's at 95,000 miles. It's not low mile, but it's not high mile. And if I just parked it and only drove it on Sundays and in car cruises and whatnot, I probably wouldn't lose much money on this thing. But who buys an M3 to stare at it? I don't think me. And there's a few reasons why. This thing isn't fast by modern standards. I think they quote it's a like 12.5 second quarter mile. It makes 333 horsepower, the American versions. European markets were a little bit more. So what's the thrill? How about the sound for the start of it? Let me get on the highway ramp here and give you a little tour of what that looks like. Here. I'm gonna hope the GoPros are still on the car. And circle our way back. The sound on this thing is insane. It's a very visceral car. It's very raw. This is my third BMW. I've had a 328i, a F90, and I've had another E46, a 330i. And the difference between the E46 330i and the M3 was really surprising to me. They're very different cars. The 330i was a good car, it's a fun car, but it's kind of just a car. Like, you can just kind of get in and drive it and it feels normal, and it doesn't surprise you. This thing's surprising. It's extremely raw, it's extremely visceral. It is very racy. You know, I hate to be one of those guys that, like, you know, always calls their car a race car, but that is 110% what it's derived from. This is back when BMW was developing their F1 program. You see a lot of things trickle down from that. The extremely high revving engine, this thing redlines at 9,000 RPM. The sequential, the paddle shifters, this is early stuff in 2003. It was futuristic, and I like it. And that's what kind of made the car cool for me, and like why I kind of liked the SMG was it was the futuristic version of the car. Like, we're coming out of the E46 through the 90s, a good car, but this totally like was different in the future, and that's what I loved about it. The E36 interior is timeless. The look of it is amazing. I'll give you some more looks as we go around here, but it's a great car, and they're going up in value, and that's why I felt like right now was the time to buy one. So I'm just going to make this an intro video, just to let you know I have it, and we're back. We've got a lot of cool stuff coming up. We've got another season of the podcast. We're working with more dealers to do more car reviews. We got press passes for the first time, so we get to go to some cool events coming up. And so I'm really hoping you guys, if you haven't already, take the opportunity to like and subscribe to the Changing Gears channel. And if you have more questions or want to see more content with this car, let me know, because I'm happy to make it. I might have a couple week gap here while we get through the last of this Minnesota winter. But after that, this is my summer car. I've already got it entered in the Cannonball Rally. We'll take you along for that. And who knows? Who knows what's going to come up? Who knows what's going to break? You might get some videos there too. I hope not too many of them, but it's an E46 M3. So keep following along. Comment if you have questions. I'm very diligent about answering them in the comments. So if you want to know something, I'd love to give you the answer. And have a great day.